Hi everyone. Thank you for watching this quick YouTube video. This is one of the presentations we did for second week of spring 2022. And we want to try to do pre-recordings for all the presentations we do on campus. So in case somebody misses it, they can also watch it on this channel. But today we're going to be talking about improving the line between students and professors as far as communicating their disabilities and ultimately trying to get the best experience at this university. Next. So a little bit about me as a refresher. I'm a senior 3. I am studying mechanical engineering. And for the B section side of SAL, I am the founder of that. I was reached out by the A section, my A section counterpart, to start up the same organization for B section. And that was in roughly 2018. And a few other things I've done outside of this group for disabilities of all sorts. I've done spoken at a few fundraisers, mostly in regards to my story, what I've been through, and really just trying to advocate and trying to create awareness for people who do have disabilities and how it affects their academia. And then last but not least, I am from Columbus, Ohio.
Hello, my name is Reese. I'm a senior 3 mechanical engineering student with a specialty in bioengineering, which I know, what a shocker. I go to an auto school and I'm in bioengineering. I am part of the first graduated class of the Young Adult Representatives of Rare Diseases Leadership Academy from Every Life Foundation. I am very proud of that because over 50 people applied. 15 people got accepted and 13 people actually went on to graduate. And that was a 3-month course over 6 classes, 3 hours each, where I got to learn about patient advocacy and also how to develop my own career within that spaces. But of course, it could apply in other spaces as well. And with that class and also my experiences from advocacy since 2017 with the same foundation, I have been doing congressional advocacy, community advocacy, and advocacy here at school for primarily the rare disease community, but of course that transcends itself into the disabled community as a whole. Now, when we talk about disability, we need to reframe how we think about it, because older generations might be like, yeah, see, she's not disabled because there's nothing wrong with her. You look at her, she's walking and she has a cane, but she's too young to have that cane. Why does she even need it? She's clearly lying to us. Or they also are like, yes, but your autism, your PTSD, your depression means nothing because we can't see it. So not only are you lying to us with your opinion on this, but also you clearly don't have anything wrong with you. Okay, that's not like true, because disability isn't always visible. Anyone, young, old, etc., can have a disability. And the experiences are truly unique to the individual, as you can clearly see in this picture. And that means that someone, even with the same diagnosis, whether it's dyslexia as with Grayson or autism with myself, that doesn't mean you have a clear-cut blueprint for how someone's going to experience that. So you need to always consider that people are going to have very unique experiences, especially when they have several disabilities happening at the same time.
So since we're talking about the communication between students and staff and faculty, I wanted to touch on some of the struggles on the student side. There's a lot of students on campus that may not understand the benefits or accommodations when speaking up or trying to talk about their needs. So a lot of those things can be acquired through the ASC and Wellness Center, such as extended testing time, having a reader for tests or having a scriber that can, take notes for you during classes and such as well. But there are a lot of students that are just not comfortable discussing their disability. And that could be out of they're afraid of being treated differently in a bad way, or maybe they don't even know what works best for them. And there is often plenty of times where students may struggle, but be undiagnosed or misdiagnosed. And that's one of the bigger issues, because from my personal experience, what I've seen is that students don't really struggle until they get to, a university or college for that matter. And when they start to struggle a little bit, their spectrum as far as their disability might be pretty low. But when you're dealing with harder classes, a tougher environment, might be able to tell that something might not be right. So there's a lot of there's a lot of things where that can trigger that lower end spectrum disability is when you get into a tougher schooling environment. So that's one of the bigger issues as well.
And professors have struggles too. For instance, as I spoke to earlier, disability isn't a one size fits all. So the knowledge required to help students with disabilities is not exactly common knowledge. So professors can struggle to engage with that material and might not even know where to look. In addition, disabilities require different methods of assistance. So someone with PTSD might be like, hey, can I get trigger warnings before you do that subject? Thanks. Whereas another student might be like, hey, this particular sound that's happening because of the construction in this particular classroom is completely disrupting my ability to focus on what is happening right now. And that is why professors might be like, ha, I'm going to teach one way or the highway, and that is all you are getting, no more, no less. And that's going to leave a lot of students behind. And that's why needs of the students can vary, regardless of what disability they have. And unfortunately, there is that bit of a generational gap between older generations that might not have been as common to talk about disability issues, whereas newer generations coming up and like, yeah, I'm disabled and I have mental health issues and that's okay and I need to talk about it. And so there's that disconnecting communication based on what we all have gone through.
So to speak a little bit more on the dialogue between the two, from the student perspective, some of the things in order to help you with your disability, in order to improve your overall school experience. Being a self-advocate, this is one of the biggest things because, well, people can't read the student's mind, right? You need to be able to speak up for yourself, um, and really make it known that, you are trying to find what works best for you, different strategies for test taking or homework, or even maybe if the professor can help explain things differently in class or on lecture notes. And another thing you can do is there is tons of research online and postings about what works for other people, right? There is a lot of there's some government resources. There's other communities out there too that talk specifically on disabilities as well. Different strategies, like I said before, for studying and learning, and just to kind of go with that as well. The ASC is very good at that too. ASC is there for you to help you achieve academic excellency. So if you go there, they can assist you. You tell them, I'm struggling in this class and I can't quite get a hang of the material. They can give you tips for studying and learning and even help coordinate between you and the professor as well. And then you also have the Wellness Center who can provide you accommodations based on your disability. That is, if you have a proper diagnosis of it as well. And that ranges from extended testing time, alternate testing location, having a reader for tests, explaining the question, and several other things similar to that.
And that's all well and good if you've done all those things as a student, but it makes a difference between whether the professor is receptive to that kind of feedback or not. And that is why, as students, we ask professors to keep that open dialogue, to say from day one that no, you're not just going to read from the common statement for students with disabilities. This is what we are going to do. And also, here are your resources. No, every single time during the semester, whether it's a test and you notice a lot of students aren't doing well, or perhaps a project where a specific student might be struggling, or even in class where they're struggling for whatever reason, keep that dialogue open with them and check in and see how they're doing. Also, if a student is telling you, hey, this is my disability and you don't know much about it, it really helps if you take like 5 minutes at least to look into what they're talking about. Because even though the experiences might be varied and diverse, if you've at least taken a moment to grasp a little part of it, then it'll help you down the line to help other students. And be a defender, because not every student is going to be like, rah, 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 I'm disabled. No, they might just like give you a note and call it a day. So you have to really be their defender and say, hey, look, I know you might not talk to me, but I'm going to be open and honest day one that I am here for you. And if I notice that my colleagues are not here for you, I'm going to speak up about that. And also, I'm going to see what I can do to make this world and this experience more accommodating for you.
So a few things to kind of keep in mind both for the students and professors. There should be a common goal in mind between the two groups, and that's achieving academic excellency. So, as a student, you're going to university. Your whole goal is to be achieve throughout the many years of being a student and getting that degree. That's the whole point of going to college, right? And the same for the professor. The whole point of being a professor at a university is to be able to hand off this knowledge, teach the students, and help them succeed as well. But then a few other things we have done. We are utilizing Discord as a common safe space to discuss learning and physical disabilities. And ultimately, this area will help be able for students and professors to share strategies, bring up concerns, and many other things related to disabilities as well. And then one of the other most important things is to keep an open mind. And along with the common goal I said before, professors want students to succeed and students want to succeed. And this is another thing too, even though like maybe let's say 60 years ago, disabilities wasn't totally a common thing. But I believe if I'm correct, if I remember the numbers correctly, the student body, approximately within a high school, let's say, I think 30% of the student body does have an actual disability, and that number keeps increasing over the years as well. So obviously there needs to be change, and finding this common ground between the professor and the student is really needed in order to help everybody have an equal chance of succeeding.
How else can SAO or really anyone support students and also help inform staff and faculty regarding disabilities? Kristen and I are here for you, and we do want feedback. Now, we're not going to be here forever. We are graduating this term, but with the development of our YouTube channel, the fact we're trying to develop Discord, all of that, we want to have a lasting impact that survives beyond us so that we can help both current students and future students as well. So of course, we will have an open dialogue where you can email us or reach out and we will do our best to help you in any way possible. Thank you for listening to our presentation.